Are we live on TikTok? Let's see. Do we have a green light? We have a green light. Okay. Apparently we're in business. Uh, Lots of things. First of all, first day back in a bunch of days. I think I was not physically in the office for 5 days. 5 days. Wow. So it's been a while. Missed you all. Glad to be back. If you are tuning in for the first time and watching on LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, know that this is being simulcast, or this is sort of the simulcast to what's going on Twitter, TikTok. TikTok being the live that we're focused on, and it's sort of spun off onto just having a second camera up there so that everyone can partake, regardless of what platform you're on. And we're just really excited to be back after a bunch of days off. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I answer your traffic and police questions here on TikTok. And we happen to be live on other platforms too. So regardless of where you are coming in from, if we see a question, we'll answer a question. Good morning to Angela Topping, who just popped in from YouTube. That red icon I recognize. So very cool. This is a busy week, really, really busy week, and it's an exciting one. So today we're here. We've got a bunch of things that we'll talk about. We'll recap the video that I just put up, which is talking about weekend impaired arrests. I got a new microphone that I'm playing with, which I think we used last live as well. Maybe I'm wrong. In any case, new microphone, and that is we'll talk about it in a sec. And then later on today, I'm going to be speaking at a conference at law enforcement in social media, or internet and social media, and it's called Smile. And so it's social. What is it? It's social media and internet and in law enforcement. I think that's what it is. And we're going to be talking about it and I'm doing a presentation there, so it's really cool. Sean Chen, good morning. Good morning to you, Sean. Good to see you. Which water do I start with? I got lots of water here. I got my 2-liter bottle. I got a couple of 500 ml. We're in Canada, so I'm speaking in metric for those who are wondering what the heck I'm talking about. Just a quick thing. A bunch of people jumped in the room since I said hello. 160 folks here on TikTok. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. It's been a few days since I've been live, so I am so excited to be back. Q is not happy with Twitter right now. Q, did our live did not propagate properly on Twitter? Is that what I'm hearing? Let me do a quick look on the Twitter because I'm trying something. I post everywhere, and it's not working. Bloody okay. Q, let's see. I'm gonna do. See, I didn't bother putting it onto. Let me see if I just retweet it. I wonder what'll happen. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties for just a moment. We want to make sure that we get it right. So if I take that link. See, it works. Usually I post. Yeah, but it's not automatically. I want to copy it. No, I don't want to open it. Oh, the joys of the internet. How do I do this? Can I just retweet? Maybe I retweet. All right. So if you have questions today, because that's what we do here, is we talk about traffic and police. And if you've got questions, drop them in the Q&A. That's the best way for me to see them. And I wonder if this is going to work. Traffic, no, nothing's working. Come on. There we go. Traffic services. I'm going to retweet this and see if it makes a difference. Retweet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
It did it.
It did. When I retweeted it, it worked. What if I retweet my own tweet on, I don't know. Anyway, it's working now. Weird stuff. I put in all sorts of trouble tickets and it doesn't, they don't do anything about it. You know, the powers that be have not been fixing it. So, cool thing about this microphone that I mentioned, it's a Rode Procaster that I bought because I have a microphone addiction, and I found someone on Facebook Marketplace that was selling it used. So I said, why not spend some money and see what I can do about getting a new microphone that's cooler, different. It's dynamic, and dynamic means it's not a powered condenser microphone like I have been using up until now, and it hopefully means that the ambient sound has a lot of off-axis rejection. In other words, if I'm not speaking directly into it, it shouldn't pick up a lot of the outside noise. So when we have people walking down the hall, because we are in open space, hopefully we won't hear them. They won't interrupt us. But never know. You never know. Mike Quinn with a good morning. Hey, good morning to you. And good to see you. Our first message of the day from LinkedIn. And Big Jeff Fresh, also on YouTube. Good morning to you. Let's see what's waiting for us in the Q&A. Oh, and as I'm searching for questions, did you know that we arrested 22 people for impaired driving offenses over the weekend? 22 people, and I mean, I put it in a video, and please watch it because we love when we get likes and views and whatnot. But ultimately, one person almost hit a horse. How do you almost hit a horse? I mean, in Toronto, we're a big metropolitan city. The only horses I know are police horses. So if they almost hit a horse, yeah, that would have been a police officer wearing a reflective vest and all sorts of things atop that horse. So this is just a bad thing, you know. Now, there was also someone who backed into an ambulance, so that's equally no bueno. And there was a person who was arrested twice. They were arrested for impaired operation by drug. Was it? No, I get the order of operations here. First, they were released after being arrested for impaired by drug, and then they were arrested again for impaired operation by alcohol. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Okay. I have a question here about why did you never mention that temp tags expired? Temp tags are temporary. They're good for 10 days. So I don't know what you mean by I never mentioned it. There was some confusion as to whether or not they were covered under an extension. And there's been a lot of discussion about whether or not it has. But there should have never been an expectation that a temporary tag where you haven't even been safetied would be, forever, a forever tag. They're good for 10 days. And beyond that, I'm not aware of anything else. The truth is, if you were pulled over, the majority of people would have probably given you a pass temporarily to go get it done. But 2 years on a temp, that would have been a great deal, wouldn't it? Red light camera took my pic. Is it always a ticket? I don't know how they work in terms of whether they always issue a ticket, if they have to, meet a certain criteria. They probably have to make sure they're legible and all the information lines up. Just because it flashes doesn't necessarily mean you got a ticket, but it probably indicates that you may want to slow down or ensure that you stop properly at stoplights, like you're supposed to. How long does it take to become a canine unit? Well, Sergeant Mike Quinn might be able to answer that question, but I imagine, and I'll just go while waiting for any response from the Sarge, that if you are joining any specialty unit within the Toronto Police, you have to be a first-class constable before you're even eligible. And that's if you get in after becoming a first-class constable, apply and make it through all the stuff, then there's a level of training. So truthfully, I don't know how long it takes because I've never worked within that unit, but you're probably looking at least 5 years as a police officer before you're even eligible to apply. I was pulled over for a mobile ride check. Is that legit? Yes, it is. Ride stops are to check for sobriety, and it doesn't have to be a ride program to do that. We can stop anyone to check their sobriety. Calling it mobile ride is because we're calling it, we're setting up. And just to follow up on the Canine, a number of years with operational and investigational experience. So Sarge is saying about 7 or more years before you can look at getting into a canine specialty. Cool. So yeah, a mobile ride check legitimate because we can stop it to check your sobriety at any time. We got Loading back. He's back with the burbles and darker windshield tint. No, you're not. Come on. You're teasing about the windshield tint because you know it's illegal. You wouldn't do that. Come on. Okay. Is it true that if a horse breaks its leg, you have to put it down? That's always what I've seen in the movies. I'm not a veterinarian, although I played one on TV. No, I haven't even played one on TV. I don't know. I understand that that's what has historically been done. Maybe technology's changed. If we find anyone from the mounted unit who can answer that question, we'll answer that, but I don't know. Fortunately, the horse that was almost hit was not actually hit, even though there was an arrest resulted in that interaction. Oh, really? So follow up again on the canine stuff. Can apply after 5, but there's a lot of competition. Usually it's about 10 to 15. Is that 10 to 15 applicants or 10 to 15 years? I don't know. And Akela Draconis says, good morning all. Coming in from YouTube. Awesome. Okay. Are studded tires legal in Southern Ontario? No, they're not. The only time that they're legal in Southern Ontario is when someone from Northern Ontario, who is actually legally allowed to have them, is visiting for a short period drive-through. McDonald's and back. That's it. You can't really do that. 10 to 15 years, really? Wow. Okay, multiple conversations going on. So it's they're not legal for extended use. If you're registered and legally having them on your vehicle because you're from Northern Ontario, and there's very specific locations that are considered legal, or locations where you can have studded tires. And yes, you can come through, or if you come from a neighboring province, you can come through. And in long discussions, I say long discussions, DMs back and forth with someone about studded tires, and we're going to do some videos about that. So, good morning from Will. Good morning to you, Will. Good to see you. Let's see here. By the way, can you hear everybody talking in the background? Because if you can't hear them, that means this microphone is doing a good job. Because I hear, you can't. Q hears the conversations, but it's probably lower than it has been in the past. So, is it better? Hopefully, there's better rejection.
As long as they don't hear it, it's fine.
Well, I don't know. We have to hear from the TikTok community to find out if they hear what you hear. But you hear everything. You can't hear it on TikTok. Well, that's good. Q has two different streams, so the audio is far better, I think, coming through. And Angela says she doesn't hear nothing, so that's good. Okay. Are winter tires mandatory in Ontario? They're not mandatory. You do, in most cases, become eligible for some discounts on your insurance premiums if you have, if you have winter tires or snow tires, they're just better and they're safer, and insurance companies recognize that. I have them on mine. They're mandatory in my household. My wife won't let me not have them. As soon as we had kids, like, you get them. I never had them when I was younger. But yeah, once I had kids, they became mandatory in my household, and I really do notice a difference, and I totally endorse them because they're worth it. They work better than the all seasons, which are really just most seasons. There's no such thing as an all season tire, in my opinion. How do jurisdictions work between city police and the OPP? We focus our efforts here. They focus their efforts on the highway in the area that I work. Although outside of Toronto, they do municipal policing. They don't do it in Toronto. So we work well together. There's a lot of projects we do together. We get together. We have I guess we have teams, or they have teams that involve officers from all over the province. So it's great. A lot of friends over in the OPP. Where can we complain about a stunt driver on the highway? So if you're seeing excessive speed, if you see people that you think are stunt driving, and you think it's immediate concern for safety, you can certainly call 911. I don't know if OPP has a portal like we have. So with Toronto Police, you can go onto our website, www.torontopolice.owen.ca/core, CORE, and that allows you to put an online complaint, type in their license plate, the location, but that doesn't work for our portal doesn't work for things on the highway. So I don't know how you would do it other than calling their non-emergency line for non-emergency, or if you really think it's an emergency right now, truly an emergency, for immediate risk to life and limb type thing, then call 911. But or if you're on the highway, you can call Star OPP, pound OPP or Star OPP. I think it's Star OPP. That'll get you through to their dispatcher. So that's cool. And Angela Topping says Q is a superwoman. Oh, but Jeff says that Q has supersonic hearing, and both are correct. It's Star OPP, confirmed by Q. Let's see here. What do you do after what to do after a report is filed for a stolen bike? Probably buy a new bike, because it's unlikely you're going to see your bicycle again. It's great that you reported it. You could take that information to your insurance company. Occasionally we get stuff back, but if you're waiting and you can't go anywhere without your bicycle, the likelihood of you seeing your bicycle, at least in short order, is slim to none. I say that because I hear stories where people wait, and years later maybe they get it, but maybe an officer who has a more connection with stolen bicycles will be able to weigh in, but I don't deal with those. But my understanding is you're probably buying a new bicycle. What is this? My friends go on the highway to race. Shake my head. Yeah, it's really silly. There's a lot of people who are putting their lives on the line and the lives of others so they can go have a thrill. People want to race, go to the track. Become a race car driver. Become a hobbyist driver. But don't do it on our roads. Highways, expressways, roadways. There's just no place for stunt driving racing. And if you get caught, you're going to lose your license for 30 days in your car for 14. It's not worth it. Never mind if you hurt someone and you pay for the rest of your life. Tips for driving alone for the first time. Take it easy. You've been driving with somebody. It's the same thing as driving alone. As long as you're licensed to do it, there's not much difference. Let's see here. Loading wants to know, do you like it when flames come out of the exhaust? It was great in Batman, but if you're not Batman, you're being silly. It's also violating a bunch of laws because you're dumping unspent gas into your pipes so that you can set fire to it. Doesn't make sense. How do you become a hobbyist driver? Hobbyist driver, in terms of racer, you would go to a local track, get qualified for your racing ticket, but there's track days. You can take your vehicle to a track and race it. And that doesn't mean racing against other people. It means racing for your better time. Do my brother need a booster? He is 6 and 14 kilos. You need to check with your manufacturer, the car seat, but 6 and 14 kilograms. That seems really light. But you need to check with the manufacturer. I would probably not be in a booster yet. My daughter, my eldest, is 7. She is still in a car seat. She's in a forward-facing car seat that accommodates her size and weight, but we have not moved to a booster because there's no reason to. It's not as safe as a full car seat. So you need to check with the manufacturer for that particular car seat, and if you've outgrown it, get some advice for what the best is. We'll have to get Amanda back when she has some free time. Amanda's a certified, registered, maven of all car seats and child restraint safety stuff, and she comes onto our show every once in a while. In fact, if you go on our YouTube and search back to episodes where she's spoken, she goes into great detail about this stuff. Can you pass an ambulance on the highway with its lights on? No. You don't pass emergency vehicles. In fact, you should be pulling over and giving them appropriate space. But no, you don't pass ambulances or fire trucks or police vehicles. No. Okay. Okay. Remove question. Let's see here. Okay. What is this? Yes, it's very scary. Never went, but seen the videos. I don't know what we're talking about there, Madison. Can I resell my car without requesting it? Yeah, I don't know what your question is. Maybe you can rephrase that. Do you know what he meant?
Someone was asking about the safeties.
So selling it without a safety? If you don't safety it, you would be selling it as is, and you can do that. The person cannot then register it without safetying it. Someone's got to safety it. And very often you'll get more money for it if it's safetied. What's the best way to get hired as a police officer? The best way is to apply. That would be the start anyway. You can go to www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. That's where you're going to get all the information as to where you can or that's where you can get all the information as to how you can apply, what you need to meet as a minimum. Oh, and apparently tps.ca/careers works too. We talked about that last week. Thanks, Q. And, it's a great resource. It tells you about all the physical requirements, academic requirements, the fact that you need a G license. It's important. But start there. Is there an age limit to apply as a police officer? It used to be up I think 65 was the max out for applying. Now there's no limit that I'm aware of. But check out the website. I don't think that there is a limit. I think it's 18 to 65. I had people in their 50s when I was applying, when I became a police officer. I think the eldest was 50 or 52 in my class. Minimum damage amount before police need to be called. This is in relation to a collision. $2,000 is the minimum for reporting. But if there's any issue, you can call police. So if they don't have their driver's license, their ownership, their insurance, if there's any questions, if there's anyone injured, if there's any, there's a bunch of things that would cause you to call police. Now, it's the reportable limit. That's what the $2,000 is. It's not whether or not you call. In fact, you may want to call to notify police because you're in the middle of the road. You know, if the vehicles are disabled, you might want to get some guidance as to what to do next. And feel free to call police for that reason. But it's like I want to decline. People want to go live with me. We're not going live. We don't go live with anybody unless we know who they are. So yeah, it's especially if anyone's transported to hospital for a injury. If they're going by ambulance, it's automatically going to be investigated roadside anyway. And just to reintroduce myself to the room for those who have jumped in after we started, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and we're talking about police and traffic stuff. I'm a traffic officer. I work for traffic services. My specialty is things that have wheels and go, whereas a lot of folks that do other kind of things, my focus is traffic. Let's see here. Nose poking. Oh, Angela wants you to double tap the screen. If you are on TikTok and you are enjoying what you're involved in here, double tap the screen. It's a like. Double tap it a lot if you really like it. And what it does is it sends the algorithm on TikTok a message saying, hey, get more people in here. Okay, garbage truck hit my windshield from a truck. Garbage hit my windshield from a truck. What do I do? If you've damaged your windshield as a result of that and you have information to report, you can certainly, take that information and make a report. But ultimately, you probably want to call your insurance company and discuss whether or not it makes sense to. Q is currently laughing at me for my misreading of the garbage. Anyway, you're probably buying yourself a new windshield. It may not be worth it to make an insurance claim for a windshield. Maybe it does, but I would consider making a report because if something was insecure load falling out of a vehicle, if it was a garbage truck in particular, still don't know what Q is off screen laughing about. I mean, I know it's loading, so who's making the comment? So I take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, so you purposely kind of read it wrong.
So if it makes you feel better that I purposefully kind of read it wrong. Okay. Let me see here. If I go to Canada and get banned, can I drive in my, and I assume you mean country or city or place of residence other than Canada. So that's up to the laws in your country. If you get suspended while driving elsewhere and you come back to Canada and you're a Canadian or Ontario driver, our laws say if you're suspended somewhere else, you're suspended here too. So yeah, I don't know what the laws are from where you are from. Okay. Angela's having a good time. Let's see here. Is there an extension or is there still an extension for plate stickers? So if your plates expired March 2020 or later, they are good until February 28th, 2022, and that is it. That is all. There's no further extensions. If your license, driver's license was a full license, you're also extended till the 28th of February. Now, when it comes to learner's permits, they are extended until December 31st, 2022. Rules regarding electric longboards, they're not legal. They're not permitted to be used here. Oh, got some questions about my epaulets. Well, I'm wearing them, but I have an extra set here because they were, where are they? There they are. I have an extra set because they were for charity, so I bought 2 pair. What better than to do is to buy extra. But those are the epaulets that officers in the Toronto Police Service supporting our military veterans are wearing this month. They're authorized for use for the month of November. Still November. It's not Christmas yet. And I think they're awesome. We had pink ones for breast cancer. We have green ones for mental health. And we have this for our veterans, which, again, I support. And very cool that we get to wear those. First year that they've done this. So going back to longboards, electric longboards, not permitted. Electric skateboards, longboards, shortboards, e-kick scooters aren't permitted in the city of Toronto. What else isn't allowed? Gas-powered bicycle conversion kits, those aren't allowed. I'm trying to think of anything else. One wheels, those aren't allowed either. Q, I don't have any tips for that. We'll have to come up with some tips maybe for tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay. Why don't the police pursue motorcycles? Well, it's not that we don't pursue them. We do stop motorcycles all the time. But there's a concept of pursuing anything, and that is if it puts the public in harm's way, it may not be worth it, especially if it's for a non-criminal offense. If it's for a minor Highway Traffic Act offense, we initiate a pursuit for something that we don't need to pursue because we have all the identifiers. We'll just meet you at your house to give you a ticket and investigate you further. But pushing you to go faster and run away, and then you get killed or somebody else gets killed, we're responsible for that, and it's not worth the risk. So for depending on, we have to weigh everything, and very often it means we'll write down your license plate and meet you at your house. I think is there no chase law during risky situations? I think we just answered that. Do dark windows actually catch your attention? Do they catch your attention? I notice dark windows. If I look at a vehicle and I don't see anybody in it, they're too dark, and that definitely draws my attention. Do I make a business out of, or make it my business to pull over every dark tint window vehicle? No, my focus has always been the big four, the behaviors that lead to serious injury and death on our roads. That is speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. So if you were doing any of those and you had dark tinted windows, excuse me, then you were on my radar. If you just had windows that may have been a little too dark and you were behaving otherwise properly, then probably didn't meet me. I have pulled over people for tickets when or for tinted windows, but again, it's not my focus generally. Why didn't you? What? Was I too loud?
You chose to cough after I placed my earbuds back in.
But I even turned away. Was it really that loud? I'm sorry. Q's supersonic hearing was affected by my coughing. Yeah, I'm going to get beat up for that. Okay. Okay.
Don't say that.
What do you mean? I'm not suggesting you're actually going to assault me. Just verbally, it's different. Okay. What is the best way to prepare for TNT OACP exam? Is this new terminology? Is this code word? Is this an acronym that I don't know? The OACP exam. I don't even know. I don't know what we're talking about. Is this a prerequisite for applying? This may be a new thing that I'm not aware of. Let me know. Ask me differently so I know what you're talking about. Is there still a physical test done with the OACP? So, in terms of prerequisites, check out the tps.ca/careers. It'll give you all the details as to the ins and outs of applying. It's been many years for me, and I don't know what the details are and what's required today. I know things have changed since I applied. I think it's easier. I don't know. Is stunt driving 40 and over or 50? It's both. If the speed limit you're traveling on, if the speed limit for the road you're traveling on is under 80 kilometers an hour, so it's a 60 zone, then 40 over will get you stunt driving. If you are traveling on a road with a speed limit 80 or higher, then 50 to get a stunt driving charge. But the truth is you should never be anywhere near that kind of speed. You can't go over the speed limit. If it's 60, you should do 60, not 100. And you shouldn't be doing 70, 80, or 90 either. So, yeah, I know. It's the unpopular answer of you're not allowed to speed. Why are cops trained with deadly force against civilians? Police are trained to use deadly force to protect life, not to simply use deadly force. There has to be a reason to use deadly force. But if it's to protect our lives or the lives of another, sometimes deadly force is required. But we're not a military faction. We're not going against other people who are armed necessarily, or another group of I don't know how to go there. Anyway, everybody other than us is civilians, essentially. So, yeah, sometimes you need to use deadly force. And in truth, everyone, if you look at the criminal code, can use deadly force if it's justified. You have to understand the law in order before doing it. But this is going down a deep hole. I'm changing channels. Okay. Does the Toronto have a SWAT team? If so, how to join? You start by being a police officer. After you become a police officer, and you can get into a specialty. But it's a very competitive project. Or prospect of application. So, yeah. Definitely, if that's your interest. Brandon wants to be a SWAT officer. That's his plan. For those of you who don't know who Brandon is, he was my partner in the office until he abandoned me and went back to the road. I'm gonna suggest that he's abandoning us on a regular basis. Okay. What is this? Street cams for emergency use only issue. I don't know what you're referring to for installing street cams for emergency use only. What is the real question here? Because I don't get it. There are cameras all over the place. So give me more information. Okay, how does? Okay, we're not getting into that stuff. I don't get into pandemic conversations. Policing and traffic, sure, but if you've got agendas about pandemic stuff, not my forte. Okay. Question there. Any updates on the donations? Hey, you know what? No, I'm still waiting for the what is it called? For Special Olympics to be listed, and then we can choose them. But other than that, nothing new. Are we allowed to use the car multimedia on the road? If you mean playing a movie, no, you're not allowed to do that. If you are, if you're talking about can you use the multimedia selection to use your stereo or to change the temperature in your vehicle's air conditioning system, yeah, you can use that. Be wary of the fact that you are still being distracted, even though you don't qualify for a stunt or a distracted driving charge. I have court tomorrow for stunt driving. What happens is that it got cut off. But what happens if you're convicted? Then you're convicted. I don't know what the question is, though. You got to show up. You got to say your piece. If you think you're going to, if you have representation, they'll do most of the talking. What do you want to know? Okay. Eating and drinking while driving. If you're eating and drinking non-alcoholic beverages, it's legal as long as you don't cause a collision. If it's really affecting your ability to drive and navigate your vehicle, is it something that could be resulting in a charge? Sure, especially if you lead to a collision. So it could be careless driving. So you shouldn't be having a 3-course meal. But if you're taking a sip of coffee now and again, or you're eating something that you can, it doesn't require a knife and fork, logic should prevail. You should be okay. Okay. I did an investigation, or I conducted an investigation. I didn't do an investigation, but I investigated a collision where a cube truck, I've talked about this before on the show, cube truck rear-ended a cement truck. The cement truck didn't even realize that it was hit. It just kept going. Now, when I went to investigate, out the window of the yes, it was Cube, not Q. A Q truck. I found that the lunch of the driver was out the window, right where the collision occurred. So they were in stop-and-go traffic, and they were eating with a fork and out of a styrofoam. It looked good, too. I got hungry. Okay. Can you drive if exhaust fell off? What? Oh, can you drive to a mechanic? I love decoding these emojis. Can I drive to the wrench? Yeah, technically. You know what? Is it going to be creating a unnecessary noise? Is it reasonable that you need to get to where you're going? Yeah, you could get towed to be perfect, and maybe that would be the most legal and legit way. But if you're going to a mechanic, I imagine that the average officer would accept that. Now, if you were stopped, and I would probably issue you a warning for the offense of unnecessary or improper exhaust. And if you got stopped again tomorrow when you were still driving to the mechanic, you'd get a ticket then. From me, I can't speak for every officer. Some officers might issue a ticket because it's technically against the law and you should have been towed there. So is there an exclusion? No. If it happened recently and it can be articulated and we believe you, and then you might get some extension or what is the word I'm looking for? Discretion. Can you drive with loud music in your AirPods? Technically, legally, yes. Is it the best thing to do? No, because you can't hear anything outside. It's not safe. It's not the safest, but it is legal. In fact, hearing isn't a requirement for driving, so there's no ticket that's going to be issued. However, yeah. Ashley, did you see these before? Our supporting veterans, our camouflage epaulets. I love these things. In case that comment came in afterwards, I was discussing it a little while ago. Thanks for doing this. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're here and I can do this to help you. And it's you and I together. No, this is all about community. We love the fact that we get to come out here and engage the public and help you with answering your traffic and police questions. It's really been amazing. We've been doing this since March, and really doing it since March. And I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. So you're very welcome. But thank you for making this all work. Subwoofers in a car, is that loud, excessive noise? It could be if you turn it up. So having subwoofers is not illegal. Having subwoofers that are cranked and disrupting everything in the world around you is no different than having a loud exhaust or driving around with your horn on. You like it, but probably nobody else does. So your mileage may vary. Don't hide your dogs? What is that? Oh, I don't know what's going on. Q's cracking up now. Camera off. Just so you know, we are also simulcasting our TikTok on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and we've got all sorts of folks in the chat there. So if I'm looking off and it makes no sense to what I'm talking about, it's because I'm actually looking at Q, who's on screen on the other side. You can hear her occasionally on TikTok, but you can see her unless she does what she just did, which is turn off her camera. Anyway, who's the nice lady behind the camera? That's what I'm talking about. It's Q. Okay. Forgot to mention I was on foot. Oh, sorry. Was this in regards to wearing headphones? Even on foot, it's not illegal, if that's what you were asking about. Yeah. Just watched a video about saying and now I find myself saying because I watched a video about saying Maybe I all the time. They suggested be comfortable in the silence and don't Anyway. Okay. For anyone who's new to the room, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I am on TikTok. I'm also on a whole bunch of other places, but on TikTok, I answer your questions about traffic and police and such. If you don't mind, follow us. I say don't mind. If you want to be part of our little family where we talk about traffic stuff all day long, join us. Yeah, hit the follow button. That way you stay in touch with us when we go live and drop new content. And we go live pretty much every day that I'm in the office. I'm now on a 4-day-a-week schedule, so this week I'm here Tuesday to Friday. We'll be live every morning, except I already said it, on tomorrow. Tomorrow we won't be live tomorrow because I've got an appointment first thing in the morning at another location, and recording it is probably not going to go well. So no video in the morning, but we might go live in the afternoon, so there could be a live. Maybe we'll do live in the afternoon. Let's see. Is this safe? I got a link I got to look at. Let's see here.
It's on the QA before you start looking on your phone.
Oh, it's in the QA. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. It's not working for me. Okay. Do you think that MTO should regulate safety prices? I don't have an opinion on it. I don't know. I imagine that getting a safety is largely to do with fixing the problems with your vehicle. But I don't know if they should regulate that. I don't even know what it is. Oh. Okay. Apparently, I don't even, is that, you put it in the, I don't know where you put it. Okay, we're moving on. I don't want to be in the rabbit hole any longer than I have to be. This is a great question, and thank you for asking it. Are traffic laws the same throughout Canadians' provinces? Actually, what Canada's provinces. But no, they're not the same. Every province has its own traffic act, and they are very similar, and similar enough that you can drive between them. But so the rules of the road, for the most part, are the same. However, however, there are generally differences in regulatory things for vehicles. So tinted window laws are different. Regulations about modifying your exhaust are different. Things of that nature. Okay, now we're looking at. Is it Justine? Okay, so I got hit by a car, then they ran off. I have picture, but never reported it. Okay, so if you, it's a hit and run, and the fact that you were struck, you could have called police then. You can still go to a collision reporting center and report it. I'm hoping you weren't injured, or at least if you were, not significantly, but you can still report it, assuming it was recent. And you can even make you got to go. I think you have to go physically to the what am I thinking of? Why is my words not helping today? The collision reporting center. You can go to the collision reporting center, and I think as a pedestrian, you still have to go after the fact. If it was taken at the time, we would attend the scene. At least that's how it is for bicycles. You know what? If you go to our website, torontopolice.on.ca or tps.ca, you can get the details on, if I was in a collision. And if you call the collision reporting center, they'll give you the best course of action. And I understand that if you're a pedestrian, if you don't even drive, it may be difficult to get out there. So they may have some options for you. Chat wants to know, what else do I do in the office? So when I'm not live streaming, there's a bunch of things happening. We used to do a lot more, and we've pivoted based on the fact that the world has changed. So a lot of what we do are safety campaigns, and right now we're preparing for a safety campaign that launches this Friday, and that safety campaign will be focused on vulnerable road users and the daylight savings time change. So next Sunday, what is it, the 7th, we're going to have the clocks change. So in preparation for that. Now, we always have safety campaigns. We're the office that creates them. We also create training materials, and we do a lot of social media. So anything social media related to traffic is coming out of my office. We have meetings, we have projects, we have stuff and things. And then there's the whatever else the boss wants. So the focus is, it is Sunday for a time change, thank you. The focus is social media for my role, a lot of video creation, a lot of training material and training videos. So it's a jam-packed day. I'm here for 10 hours at a time, and it flies by. Flies by. Neil says, good blessed Tuesday morning. This is Neon coming in from a different channel. You're throwing me off, man. All right. Thoughts on snowboarding behind car on highway? My thoughts are that it would be illegal. Snowboarding on a highway, yeah, probably dangerous, aside from illegal. You can't tow yourself on a car. You can't do it with a skateboard. You can't do it with a bicycle. You can't do it with a snowboard. What to do about excessively loud cars on streets? Well, when they're excessively loud, they're creating unnecessary or unreasonable noise. And the deal is that they can be ticketed for that under the HTA. If they have no exhaust or improper exhaust, we can ticket them for that as well. You can also report individual vehicles or areas that are problematic. We have a huge problem in the GTA. Actually, it's probably a huge problem everywhere in the world, but we hear about it a lot in the GTA about residents who are unhappy with the noise being created. And I can tell you that I hear loud pipes all night. Cars and bikes ripping up and down the streets, probably trying to get their last joyride out before they have to put those cars away. But it's annoying. You're trying to sleep, and they're making all sorts of noise. And I'm not being an old man about it. I think they're great on a track when I'm choosing to be involved in that noise. I can wear earplugs and be ready for it. But when people are making noise in the streets, I turn into a grandpa. I don't want to hear it. I want to focus on the nice, quiet environment I'm in. Can courts reduce ticket fees in case of hardship? They can. More often than not, they'll give you time to pay. So they're less likely to give you a reduction and more likely to give you time to pay. So if it's $100 and you say, I've got X number of kids, I'm the only breadwinner, I lost my job, whatever the case may be, could I have 6 months to pay? And you can pay in equal payments, or you have 6 months to pay if you pay it all lump sum at the end, depending on what they suggest or decide in court. And if you can't make it by the end, if you don't have it paid off, you can apply for an extension. But they're very good about that. Can I ride my horse on the highway? If you mean highway being any road, yes. If you mean on a expressway, no. How long do I have to pay my ticket? You have choices in the back of your ticket. You can either send payment within 15 days, or you can choose to challenge it. You can say, I want a court date, at which point you have to file that within 15 days, and then it's up to when it finishes in court. It might be a year, it could be longer. And if you go to court and ask for an extension, or you need time to pay because you're having financial hardship, there you go. We just talked about that. How was my weekend? My weekend was good. I'm not actually being honest about that. It was great because I got to carve pumpkins with my kids. I put them up on the voiceover cop. When I put it on Instagram, and that was amazing. I twisted my ankle. I don't even know if I don't know how I hurt my ankle, but I barely was able to walk all weekend. I couldn't put pressure on my heel. I was walking weird, which caused everything else to hurt. So it was a mess. But I had a lot of fun with my kids. They were really excited about pumpkin carving. And where else? What else did I do? Had a couple of good meals. So it was a nice weekend. Thanks for asking. How was your weekend? By the way, the safe driver, if you don't know who he is, or don't already know who he is, or you've been hiding, he's a TikToker now. He's also a podcaster and blogger. He does all sorts of great stuff. He is a master instructor, as far as I'm concerned, a driving instructor to driving instructors. And if you want to be a driving instructor, you should check out his channel and maybe reach out to him, because if you think, what is it? If you think you're good enough to, kind of thinking of Top Gun, I need some Top Gun quotes to promote the safe driver and his exploits. I was thinking about, you can't handle the truth, but wrong movie. Anyway, let's see here. How long was your police training and where was it? So I'm a police officer in the province of Ontario. Ontario has an Ontario Police College. I think we go away for 3 months. So we do a pre-Elmer with the Toronto Police College. Then we get sent away to the provincial college. We do that. We come back. We have some post-Elmer. And I think the whole process is 3 or 4 months. And then you do training with a coach officer. And that's still being trained even though you're on the road. And then you're a 4th class constable when you graduate. You go out and you continue to, actually, while you're with a coach officer, you're a 4th class constable. But you're always learning. It never stops. But the basic training, I believe, is about 3-ish months. Let's see. Yeah, about 3-ish months. 3-ish months. I can't speak today. Yeah, it's a thing. I got to look it up. I don't know how long I was in that schooling. So I was so focused, I can't tell how much time it took. Is police college like the movie Police Academy? Yes and no. Mostly no. But it was actually a really good experience, except for the fact that I was away from my family, and that was hard because you live on campus. Yeah, that's what it is. In fact, a little known thing, the set or the school from the first police academy is in Toronto. And I took some video there, and I should go back and do a TikTok from the location because it's now Humber College, at least one of the locations. Very cool. So if you want to go see that, see where, was it Labarge? Commandant Labarge, I think is his name. I think so. I gotta watch these movies with my kids. Except I gotta fast forward all the naughty scenes because my kids are little. Okay. You hope to be an OPP officer? Excellent. OPP, Toronto, they're all good locations or good services to work for. I'm a little biased. I think Toronto's the best, but that's just me. Brandon needs to post more on TikTok. Well, Brandon don't work here no more. Brandon's back on the road. He has less time to do that stuff because he's answering radio calls. When he was up here, he was focused on social media because that was the role. But now he's back on the road and he's focused on collision investigations. So hopefully I'll pass along the message and say his adoring fans are ticked that he has not been posting. Is it illegal for a 13-year-old to drive on private property? So, Highway Traffic Act in charges in relation to driving, at least in licensing, they don't apply. So technically, I can't charge you for, or a 13-year-old for driving on private property. Now, if they're stunt driving on private property, yes, I can charge them because stunt driving laws extend onto private property. If they're in a collision and they don't report, could you be charged? Yeah, you could, even if you're 13. So there's situations where it may result in charges for a 13-year-old. But simply driving, if they're doing a good job of it, may not result in charges because we can't lay that charge on private property. But if they're driving dangerously or stunt driving, they would be eligible. What's on my epaulets? Well, my epaulets are digital camo. These are part of a fundraising effort and to bring awareness to veterans. So it's awesome. We're supporting military veterans. I love it. Love it. Okay. What's your thoughts on the auxiliary program? Well, being that I used to be an auxiliary and was one for many years, and now that I actually oversee the auxiliary program at Traffic Services, I work with the auxiliaries, it's amazing. I think it's the best thing you can do as a volunteer is to become involved with your auxiliary program at your local police service. If you're in Toronto, come join the Toronto one. I believe we're going to be taking, Lassard. No, thank you, Commandant Lassard. What was I saying? Commandant Labarge. Labarge was the chief of York Regional Police. It was close. Commandant Lassard. Anyway, so in terms of auxiliary, it's a fantastic way to volunteer in your community. You get to do all the fun stuff in policing, almost all the fun stuff in policing, without all the paperwork. And whether you're interested in becoming a police officer or not, I would strongly suggest being a volunteer. And if you don't want to do the volunteer in a uniform capacity, we have adult volunteers as well. Are you still an active police officer? Depends on how active. If you mean like I got up, had breakfast, came to work, yes, I'm a police officer. No, I'm not on the road. I was injured in a motorcycle collision a few years ago, and I am not on the road enforcing or doing active frontline policing. I am behind the screen, in the office. I am differently abled at the moment. Okay. Can I choose a tow truck company of my choice in an accident? Yes, except when a police officer says we're moving it now and we're moving it with this company. So you, excuse me. Apparently I need agua. So if you are in a collision and before police get there, you decide to take it, yes, you can take it with anyone who comes by. You can call CAA. It's great. Except when police get there and say, okay, chop, we got to go now. You're obstructing traffic. It's got to be moved. Or if you're taken by ambulance to the hospital, those are situations where police may determine that it's going now and will use a contract tow. Contract tow means it's a company that is on contract with the Toronto Police for that jurisdiction because we have multiple contracts for different parts of the city. So if you're in the area that particular tow truck has the contract, we may say pick it up and go, and then you don't have the choice. That being said, I'm trying to think of the aside from the what else is there? Even if you have CAA, that's what I was thinking. CAA has a program that if we instruct you to move the vehicle, you can be reimbursed by CAA in those situations. So, yeah, we won't hold a road so you can have your favorite one. You look like you could be an FBI agent. My cousin was an FBI agent. Maybe it runs in the family. My biggest problem preventing me from being an FBI agent is the fact that I'm not American. But I can get a fedora, and then maybe. That used to be part of their uniform, you know? It was a suit and tie and a fedora was actually part of the uniform. Are Resonator deletes legal in Ontario? My understanding is no. You need a proper exhaust system. Resonator is part of that. So Resonator, if you take it out, makes your car louder, then making your muffler not function, so it becomes improper and may result in tickets for unnecessary noise. Working as a screening officer helps with RCMP app. I don't know what you mean by screening officer. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. What is a screening officer? Let me know. It's terminology I'm not familiar with. Question from Neil. Is there going to be a tow truck company on rotation? So do we use different ones? So every contract negotiation, they bid on it, and they either win or don't win. Mike, Sergeant Quinn was an auxiliary in Ottawa, and it says it was a great experience. Awesome. I was an auxiliary in Toronto. I started as a traffic auxiliary, big shock, and then I went to 32 Division, and then was promoted to auxiliary sergeant, and I eventually went to 31 Division for a short period of time, and was then patched over and became a police officer. So I've done some rounds there. How are yellow speed signs different from white ones? Yellow signs are generally the ones you see on off-ramps. They are the suggested speed so that you don't slide off the off-ramp. However, the official speed is the white sign. White signs are the regulated speeds and the enforceable signs. Can I get a sports car with a G2? Sure you can. Is it the best option? Probably not. Just because it's funny how people tend to do bad things with cars that go fast. I'm not saying that you would make poor choices, but cars that are sports enabled, your Elantra doesn't make you want to do Mach 2, but maybe some cars do. Get the car with the smallest engine. Never get a speeding ticket. Okay, really bad joke. Not even a joke, just a poor attempt at humor. Anyway, what's that?
Can I touch my phone while I'm at the red light?
No, you cannot touch your phone. Q is asking on behalf of somebody else. But no, you can't touch your phone. You cannot touch, handle, utilize your telephone unless you're legally parked. Now, legally parked doesn't mean stopped in park. It means somewhere that you could leave your vehicle for an extended period of time without getting a ticket because it's legal. Yeah, so you can't do that. And the only time you can use your phone while driving, aside from hitting, having your phone mounted and answering or hanging up a call in speaker mode without holding it, you can also call 911. Now, 911 is for emergencies, not to call your friendly operator, but you can call 911, and you can, at that point, hold your phone if you didn't have a speakerphone or Bluetooth and use it normally and be perfectly legal to do that. It's also why police, when they're using their phones, there's an exemption. Calling 911 or being 911, both exemptions. So police, fire, and ambulance operators, the drivers, are permitted to use their cell phones, their handheld communication devices, including two-way radios, as well as their computers, because it's part of it. But civilians are allowed to make calls to 911. That's it. On screen in cars, what do you mean? Now they're asking about screens in cars. So the question about can you have a screen visible? The only screen that you can have visible on a cell phone, like a Tesla. Okay. So first off, if you're in GPS mode on a cell phone and it's mounted, you can have it in that mode, but you can't obviously be checking email or using other modes in a cell phone while you're driving. Just the call that you've answered, the active line, or a GPS. And if you're talking about the screens in Teslas, the big infotainment systems, they generally have lockouts to prevent you from doing things you're not supposed to do. If you bypass those lockouts and you can play movies on it, well, that's against the law. You can't do that. But just using the screen and actively utilizing the touchpad to change your stereo or your air conditioning, climate control, that's permitted. So you can do that. But some people can surf the internet on their infotainment system. That's not legal. Let's see here. I got a 10-kilometer over ticket. What's my best option? Well, if you got a 10-kilometer over ticket because you were doing 10 kilometers over, you can pay it because that means you're guilty. If you're saying that you weren't, then you have options to put up a defense. There's no demerit points. Not that matters because any ticket will hurt your insurance standing. And ultimately, you can use it as a learning opportunity and not speed in the future. I don't know what you're looking for, but in terms of suggestions. Let's see here. Akela's got to take off and go to a meeting at Traffic Management Center. Bye for now. Oh, listen, Akela, thanks for dropping by. We'll see you next time. Okay. Can you touch a GPS system or same rule as phone? So if your phone is in GPS mode, you cannot touch it. You set it and forget it before you get on the road. If you have a GPS that is only a GPS, a standalone device, could you touch it? Technically, yes. But should you touch it? No, you shouldn't because it's still a distraction. Always, in every situation, your focus needs to be driving. I know it's an unpopular answer, but when you're driving, you should drive. Okay.
Kat says that you're safe today. There's no cop on your 6.
I know, it's weird, huh? Or the lack of person is good, because it was weird when I had Todd behind me driving. It was funny though. Screening officer at YVR Airport. Yes, any kind of security could give you good experience, for the purposes of an interview when you're applying for somewhere else. So yeah, it's your life experience, and if you had excellent examples to be able to speak about situations where you were able to stay calm, remain, and de-escalate and things of that nature. So you could be getting some good opportunities. And if you have security clearance, that's also good. Okay. Can we click to accept trips for Uber or DoorDash? You can click for the purposes of answering or hanging up a phone, momentary click. If you have to scroll and go through menus, no. So that's for telephone. Now, if I'm assuming you'd be granted that level of permission when it comes to answering a DoorDash call. But if you've got to read it, if you've got to focus on the screen, pay attention, and read it, I think you're actually violating and could be eligible for a ticket. So if you're parked, reviewing the options of DoorDash calls that are being offered to you, then you could, accept it while you're legally parked. But while you're driving, unless you're blindly just saying yes to whatever comes, I'm going to say no. And you'd likely get a ticket for it. How long does an at-fault collision, we don't say accident, stay on your record? The deal is that any conviction will stay on your record for 3 years. Any demerit points related to a conviction will stay on for 2 years after the point that you are, or the actual, event. Okay. How do you get a tow contract with the police? So tow companies apply when there's a bidding opportunity, and I don't know the details. Sergeant Campbell would know the details. He's not in the office today, so I can't even bug him. But it's quite a big process. Okay. It's time. It's 10 o'clock. We've been here for an hour, and it's been a blast. Thank you so much for coming to attack with us. I don't know why I'm speaking like this. It's been a blast. So if you don't already follow us, please do. We'll be back tomorrow at some point, maybe. Definitely back on Thursday. At some point tomorrow, because I don't know when, possibly around noon. Today, we're going to record some things, post some things, and maybe we'll just post something in the morning just so you have something to look at. That's it. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you again soon.
Bye, TikTok.
That's what I was waiting for. Have we come through? Okay. We are off of the... See, weirdness here. Let's see what happened. No, that's not the button I wanted to press. We're still live on... there we go. Took a picture of that. Keep our analytics... Are they working? Yeah. 341 people in the room at one time. Awesome. So we're still live on the YouTube. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. Yeah, big day today. We're presenting at the Smile conference today, so that's pretty cool. Couldn't be in Arizona in person, but I will be virtually there, chatting to folks in law enforcement on social media and internet. So pretty excited about that.
Look salty without looking salty there.
What do you mean? How that they can replicate and be the CEOs of no in their local jurisdiction?
Are you excited?
I am excited. I think it's really cool that I get to talk about the positive stuff we've been doing here on TikTok and YouTube, and share my lessons learned, because I've learned a bunch of stuff. So very cool. Very excited about that. Actually going to go through my presentation now and prep, and I've got some social media content that needs to be posted on our other platforms. So I got a few things to do. Q, as always, thanks, and welcome back to being on camera. It's been weird not having you. Share that
on camera. I don't know. I kind of like the off-camera life.
I know you do. You weren't voting for camera as your first pick.
No, it just kind of happened, and yeah, we just rolled with it.
We rolled with it. It's been cool. So, listen, I'm gonna hit that button and end the stream. Thanks to everyone who's been hanging out with us and anyone watching. Check us out on TikTok if you don't already do that, and we'll be back soon. Just don't know when exactly, what time. It'll be tomorrow probably.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Take care.